Welcome to the Get Over Yourself podcast. This is author and athlete Brad Kearns discovering ways to be healthy, fit, and happy in hectic, high-stress modern life. So let's slow down and take a deep breath, take a cold plunge, and expertly balance that competitive intensity with an appreciation of the journey. That's the theme of the show. Here we go. The Get Over Yourself podcast is brought to you by Almost Heaven, beautiful compact home use sauna kits, ancestral supplements, grass-fed organ meats in a capsule, DNA Fit, genetic testing for custom diet and exercise recommendations, Integro Health, high-potency liquid probiotic called Flourish, Organifi, organic powdered superfoods, delicious green, gold, and red powders, Wild Idea Buffalo, sustainable, grass-fed, beyond organic, and check out the bradkearns.com/shop page. That's my personal selection of favorite products for health, fitness, and peak performance. And here we go with the show. I'm telling you, on the 11th hole, the 12th hole, I thought I was going to just fry and melt into the ground. My body was totally rebelling. I'd stopped sweating. I was feeling dizzy, lightheaded. The upper body was getting numb and tingly, all these signs of heat exhaustion, heat stroke. And yes, I had to retreat back to my hotel room for about 14 straight hours of drinking water and electrolytes. They invented this contraption like a toaster with a gloved insert, so you're sticking your hand in a toaster and your hand is surrounded by cool water. So what this device does is quickly lower your body temperature, and by doing so it allows you to continue to perform physical work at an impressive level of output rather than be hindered by the elevation in body temperature, which sends a strong message to the brain to shut down peripheral function. Really, when I stopped sweating and started to have the tingling biceps and forearms and goofy stuff like that, it might have been a noble decision to pull out on the 14th hole and say sorry. But again, I'm saying, look, I flew halfway across the bloody country. I'm a tough guy. I've been through this before. I've raced in the Caribbean. I can get through it. And I got through it. But I'm not so sure I would sign up for that ever again in my life. Perfect Keto. What a name. They are makers of a complete line of keto-friendly supplements and food products, all made with exceptional quality and cleanliness. That's right, no artificial ingredients or sweeteners or other crap. And they also make a point at Perfect Keto to emphasize education and living a keto-friendly lifestyle. I like that. It's important to recognize that a supplement is just that. It's best utilized when you're in a groove with all the other lifestyle factors. These guys at Perfect Keto will set you up with everything you need from their popular Keto Answers podcast. Check it out. Hosted by company founder Dr. Anthony Gustin. And they have a very informative website with education, articles, a new book coming out called Keto Answers. You can smoothly integrate the use of their fine supplement products into your keto-friendly lifestyle and get 15% off by using the code BRAD, or type in perfectketo.com/Brad and you find your 15% off landing page. If you do nothing else today or the rest of your life, you absolutely must try their extraordinary Perfect Keto nut butter infused with MCT oil. Oh, this stuff is amazing with dark chocolate or Greek yogurt. It's a blend of raw macadamia, coconut, and cashew with the MCT oil infused to get you keto crankin'. perfectketo.com/Brad. Hello, listeners. Let's use my favorite communication vehicle and anecdotal metaphorical example of Speedgolf to talk about my favorite subject of late, which is to maintain passion and competitive intensity throughout life. And I've talked about my pursuit of the single-hole speed golf world record and my passion for speed golf. Even if you don't like speed golf, I force you to sit and listen to the glowing accounts of this wonderful, fantastic sport. So we will keep to tradition, and I'll report back from my recent trip to Houston, Texas for the USA Professional Speed Golf Championships, where I took an 8th place and played some of the best golf I've ever played in tournament competition. But the thing that was most on my mind was the oppressive heat for the tournament. So this is late September. It's getting cold. The leaves are changing in New England, across the country, but deep down in Texas, it's still pretty dang hot. And we had 93-degree afternoon temperatures, and the inexplicable decision to tee off the players in the early afternoon, in the heat of the day. So my tee time at 3:08 p.m., 93 degrees Fahrenheit, officially, heat index 99 degrees. And I realized afterward that I had never, ever played speed golf in oppressive heat conditions because, as you might know, the speed golfers have to play when there's no other golfers around. So we're either first thing in the morning, very, very early, just after sunrise, or right before dark is my usual practice time, where I head out there. And even in the summertime, when it's a 100-degree day, I go out there at 8 p.m. It's not terrible. But this was an absolute torture fest, especially after the first 9 holes when I really started to feel it and was compelled to slow to a walk on the back 9. So there's a first time for everything, because usually in speed golf, you're running through that course as fast as you can. Your strokes count as well as your minutes on the course. So you add your strokes and your minutes together to get a speed golf score. But I just succumbed to the heat, and boy, that first experience of slowing from a jog to a walk, submitting to the mighty orb in the sky that's cooking your body, that was something else. And I think I channeled back to, 27 years ago was the last time I was racing on the circuit and doing some of these ultra hot weather races like we'd have occasionally on a Caribbean island, or of course out in Hawaii at the Ironman. And it's such torture on the body, and it's such a challenge. And I just transported me back so long ago, the last time I really put my body through anything similar. And it's interesting because when you're out there in battle, something that brutal, you realize quickly that your thoughts, it's a battle between positive and negative thoughts, and they have so much significance on your physical performance and your disposition. And it's so important to take control of your mind, of your thoughts, keep those positive thoughts going, try to eliminate the complaining and that voice inside your head that's asking, what the hell are you doing out here? Or is it possible to quit right now? And I remember that battle with competitors on the race course where we're running at a high rate of speed on the 10K, the final event of the triathlon, Olympic distance triathlon. And you just wonder, is it worth it to try and stay with this guy? Or should I just let him go because the pain is too bad? And if you can talk yourself into it and somehow try to focus on taking one step at a time, or in my case, in the speed golf tournament, one hole at a time, one shot at a time. That was really the only way that I was able to make it to the 18th hole standing up, because I'm telling you, on the 11th hole, the 12th hole, I thought I was going to just fry and melt into the ground. My body was totally rebelling. I'd stopped sweating. I was feeling dizzy, lightheaded. The upper body was getting numb and tingly, all these signs of heat exhaustion, heat stroke. And yes, I had to retreat back to my hotel room for about 14 straight hours of drinking water and electrolytes before I was able to get my body up and perform the next morning in much more pleasant temperatures, but still really, really difficult and a lot of walking involved. So it's nice to have these goals that really challenge and push yourself. And it's nice to win the battle between positive and negative thoughts. And I was taking inspiration from all kinds of areas. My sponsor, my man, Brian Johnson of Ancestral Supplements. You probably heard the commercial or heard about the new product we're developing called MoFo. Check it out, bradkearns.com/MoFo. That's the male optimization formula with organs, coming soon. Exciting. Anyway, he does this incredible workout called the Barbarian, where he has to walk about a mile carrying a backpack with 70 pounds, carrying 70-pound dumbbells with ankle weights, and also pulling a sled that weighs 70 pounds. It's a massive load where he's just trudging down the driveway, turn around and back to accomplish about a mile. And it takes him, I think, a record time of 50 minutes or something like that. Some people have done it in 2 hours, but just pure torture. And I thought about my girl, my favorite podcast guest, Mia Moore. We were on a tough hike out in Lake Tahoe on a warm, sunny day. And I was, trying to look after her, make sure she was not overdoing it. And I asked a couple times too many, how you doing? You okay? And she said, don't ask me anymore because I don't want to distract my mind from just getting through the hike. Because if you open that door, this is me talking now, if you open that door and say, hey, are you okay? Are you tired? You need some more water? Then you can put those thoughts into the person's mind. You can plant those seeds and they can go off the rails and start to get negative and say, yes, I'm exhausted, as a matter of fact. So what a great attitude and disposition. We've talked about it a lot since the hike, where I was like, I was quiet after that, but I was really impressed with that answer. Not the slightest bit offended, and it just makes so much sense. And so I was trying to talk myself into not complaining and just hitting some good shots. And another amazing insight from this day was that I played quite well over the 2 days. For me, I shot 84, 83 in the Speedgolf format with only 6 clubs and a tough course that I'd never played before. So I was hitting some really great shots, even though I was near death and about to collapse. And it just shows you the weather was so hot that I didn't have any tension or stress or the energy to ruminate about my bad shots or about my swing mechanics or whatever usually gets in the golfer's way from just being purely intuitive and using your athletic ability out there to assess the shot that you have to hit and let the intuition take over, which is the best way to play golf. But we so often get in our own way with our ruminating mind. So that was just amazing. These balls were going long and straight while I could barely see straight. So anyway, the experience overall was rewarding in some ways, but I will put in a plug for the human and especially the human athlete to be careful performing in hot weather. It's just not meant to be. And it's the single most profound performance limiter, I think, of anything. And I've talked a little bit about the RTX cooling glove and the amazing studies at Stanford University where they invented this contraption like a toaster with a gloved insert. So you're sticking your hand in a toaster and your hand is surrounded by cool water. So what this device does is quickly lower your body temperature. And by doing so, it allows you to continue to perform physical work at an impressive level of output rather than be hindered by the elevation in body temperature, which sends a strong message to the brain to shut down peripheral function to save your life. Your body does not like to have those legs striding along at high speed when you're getting overheated because it has to protect the internal organs. So you're going to start losing function tremendously due to the heat. And I realized with my intense effort to maintain positive thoughts that it really is no battle against the heat. And so I think there's a time and a place to push yourself, but you can certainly push yourself too hard toward these athletic goals. And we've read these stories about rhabdo. Have you heard of that? Rhabdomyolysis, I think it's called, which is a sort of a disturbingly common condition in the CrossFit community. This is where the damaged cellular material leaks out of the muscle cells and goes into the bloodstream and causes maybe kidney failure or something really serious where all of a sudden you're doing a workout, you're pushing hard, you're getting to the point of puking, and then, oops, got to send him to the hospital. So the potential to overdo it in the name of being a tough guy or tough gal is out there in so many sports. It's part of the cultural fabric of the honor and the pride of pushing yourself so hard. And so I want to push back a little bit against these notions and present the idea that you should strive for peak performance under sensible and perhaps optimal conditions. So you shouldn't really toe a starting line of any kind if you are experiencing symptoms of subpar health or energy or injury risk or function. because it's just silly. The races will be there when you're ready. And I see so many athletes just continuing to, whether it's a race or just showing up to the gym to do a workout so they don't miss Wednesday night, even though they're exhausted, their knee hurts, and they have a sore throat. So really, the honor and the glory in peak performance is doing it the right way. And part of that right way is to be sensible and not put yourself into health risk. So really, when I stopped sweating and started to have the tingling biceps and forearms and goofy stuff like that, it might have been a noble decision to pull out on the 14th hole and say sorry. But again, I'm saying, look, I flew halfway across the bloody country. I'm a tough guy. I've been through this before. I've raced in the Caribbean. I can get through it. And I got through it. But I'm not so sure I would do that. I would sign up for that ever again in my life. And so what I'm saying is, if I see a speed golf tournament slated for an afternoon tee time with the predicted high of 93 degrees, I'm going to think twice, and I'm going to save my precious assets of energy and resolve and competitive intensity and that discipline and focus to get through a tough event. I'm going to save that for when the weather's 74 and I can stride down the 18th hole, asking a lot from my body to maintain the same pace that I started with, but not at the potential expense of my health. Because after I finished, yeah, I had a small sense of pride that I played a great round, but I didn't feel so good for 14 hours. So it kind of takes the fun out of it. And yeah, I'm in the professional division, but so far, my career winnings on the Speed Golf Pro Circuit, total $100. That's a paycheck for taking third place in the California Championships. So proud to say that I won money as a professional athlete, 23 years after my last check on the professional triathlon circuit. So that was a fun one, but my expenses far outweigh my prize winnings. So I'm not out there doing it for money or for sponsor obligation. I'm doing it for fun and for personal growth. So I guess the end message here is to strike that balance between going for it, challenging yourself, maintaining passion and competitive intensity throughout life, like I always talk about, but also being sensible and realizing, hey, if you're raising a family right now and your kids have soccer practice and soccer games and precious once in a lifetime opportunities, your kid's only going to be playing U10 soccer for 2 years in history, and then they're done with U10 forever, and then it's U12, and then it's U14, and time flies, and in a flash, it's all over. So if you're busy blowing off excess energy, doing some obsessive compulsive fitness outlet or other thing that's taking you away from the precious moments of the fleeting years of raising your children from infant to adulthood, think twice, maybe get more present and, appreciate the richness of the different seasons of life where there's a time and a place for everything. And I'm particularly talking about some of these extreme endurance goals that are so time consuming, so energy depleting, and possibly not a great fit for many people who have busy, active lives and are showing up for others in different ways. Take the Ironman, for example. I just got an email from an old friend, and she said, yeah, I'm going for the Arizona race, and this is going to be my one and done race. And I laughed, and I'm like, that's a pretty cool goal, I mean, that'll keep you motivated out there to put in the miles and the training when you realize this is my one and only Ironman. Once I finish that thing, grab that medal. I heard a rumor that they have tattoo artists on site to give you an Ironman tattoo, which is pretty frickin' scary to get a corporate logo branded onto your body after finishing a race and actually pay for that privilege rather than get paid. I mean, I'd consider getting an Ironman logo tattooed on my body after I finished with a tremendous amount of compensation involved in my direction, but I don't know about the other way around. But hey, man, whatever turns you on. But the one and done concept is really cool for a lot of things. Hey, raising your kids, for example, even your career. You're going to go through your career once. You're going to go through your 40s once. You're going to go through your 50s once. So you might as well make it count and make the best decisions appropriate to your lifestyle circumstances at the time. All right. How's that for a little update? Give you some food for thought, I hope. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the show. We would love your feedback at getoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. And we would also love if you could leave a rating and a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. I know it's a hassle. You have to go to desktop iTunes, click on the tab that says ratings and reviews, and then click to rate the show anywhere from 5 to 5 stars. And it really helps spread the word so more people can find the show and get over themselves, because they need to. Thanks for doing it. This is Brad. I want to tell you about my life-changing acquisition of a personal home-use sauna. I have a 6x6 barrel sauna in my backyard, ready-made heat therapy, a fabulous unit from Almost Heaven. Check out their website. You can very affordably order your own sauna for installation in your backyard or garage and have a sauna experience, the fabulous health benefits accruing from exposure to hot temperatures. Get that sweat going. These are beautiful traditional dry barrel saunas where you splash the water on the rocks, go in there and relax. It's become a social centerpiece at my home. People traveling from far and wide to come check out the barrel sauna, turn the dial or set the timer and walk in to 200 degrees in the Caribbean seas. For some reason, people like to come to the sauna more than my cold tub. Go figure. Check out almostheaven.com and their beautiful natural wood designs, and pretty soon, surprisingly affordable, you will be in the home sauna business.